Good morning, welcome to another video. Today I'm at Guanlan Ancient Market in Shenzhen, and I've come here because there are links between the development of Guanlan and Guangzhou in Xiguan, where I was last month. So I wanted to come here to explore and find out a little bit more about the linked history and about why Guanlan became a really important trading area in Shenzhen. So stay tuned. Oh, and if you haven't, can you please consider subscribing and please like the video and comment. Is there anywhere in Shenzhen that you would like me to visit? Maybe something that you've heard of or you're just curious about? Please write a comment down in the description. Okay, on with the video. Okay, now this river here, even though it's quite small, is one of the biggest reason why Guanlan became such an important trading hub. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. Just over here, we've actually got the ancient market. So we'll have a bit of an explore around here, learn some of the history and understand what the links are between this small little market in Guanlan and the massive Guangzhou. Okay, so in the mid 1700s, during the Qing dynasty, there were no roads, anything like that in Guanlan. So the only form of getting goods in and out were from the river. And that's really the heart of this village, really where its trade came from. And people would transport goods up and down the river, stopping off here. There would be accommodation, there would be food, and people could trade with one another. Okay, now they've actually blocked e-bikes from going in here and made it much more pedestrian friendly, which I really appreciate. So this is some of the old buildings here. We've got tea houses, which look really cool. So every Lunar New Year, the villagers around here would set a calendar for the year ahead for market days so that people would know what days they could travel here, what days they could do trade. And I think originally it was only 2, maybe 3 days a week at most. And then after its transformation, it became every day. There was trade coming in and out, up and down the river. Okay, this is the main street along Guanlan. Again, here you can dress up, as I mentioned on previous videos, which people like to do. Dress up in old traditional clothes and have your photographs taken with some of the old buildings. I'm a little bit early today to try and avoid the heat. It's not even 11 o'clock yet and it's already 31 degrees with about 35, 36 with the humidity. A lot of people decided to stay in today because of the heat. As you can see, it's very quiet. At night time, all these lanterns light up and it gets a lot busier. But it's nice to explore when it's so quiet. Nice coffee shop there. Now, when I was in Guangzhou, I went to Xiguan, and I talked about Xiguan being the only trading hub for the whole of China, and lots of international trade, international visitors all got together in Guangzhou, and that's where all of the trade was made. And that had a direct input here on Guanlan, because 9 years after, Guangzhou became the central trading area for the whole of China. The river that we've had a look at already links to Guangzhou through a few other towns and villages along the way. And so this became an important trading hub. And so all goods imported into Guangzhou would then come upstream to Guanlan and be unloaded here for this local area. But also locally produced goods from here were put on board barges and sent back downstream to Guangzhou, where they could then be distributed around the world from all the different traders who were there at the time. So it says here it's the hometown of overseas Chinese. Now in Guangzhou, there was an area called the 13 Hongs, and this was really the only authorized trading area. So any trade coming in, going out from China had to go through this 13 Hongs. And the 13 Hongs obviously linked directly to here too. So any trade here would go through the 13 Hongs before then going out into the wider world to different countries. So coming into Guanlan from Guangzhou via the 13 Hongs would be glassware, fruits from other parts of Asia, some kind of materials, some different foods, things really that China didn't have and didn't produce. Well, different materials. Obviously, China was very, very strong at producing silk and some other materials, but there are other materials that they didn't produce here that would come in through Guangzhou. Now, this is the Wenchang watchtower on the edge of Guanlan because it sits directly opposite and overlooking the river. So it would not only provide us defence into and out of the village, but also enable them, as it's quite high up, to actually look in the distance to see which barges were coming along the river. Now at the bottom of here, there's also an old kind of money exchange vault. It's a really well preserved village. So whereas before Guanlan was just a small local trading hub, it suddenly in a way became internationalized, and it was seen as a very important route from Guangzhou to Guangdong and other parts of China, because Guanlan is quite close to Guangzhou. So weaving, dyeing, oil processing, things like that suddenly exploded here and became instant businesses overnight, because that's what the rest of the world needed. As with most villages, it has its own temple. But filming and photography is not allowed inside, and we respect that. So we won't go in there today. But yeah, this is common. You find this in most small villages all around China. So in its golden age, Guanlan was kind of known as the Little Hong Kong. And it became known as the Little Hong Kong because businesses here, people here just became incredibly wealthy, like Hong Kong was at the time. Yeah. At the end of the 1700s, that's really when Guanlan really exploded, and for a period of around 100 years, from 1800 to 1900, was really its golden era. At the end of the Opium Wars, the policy of having a single port of entry into and out of China came to an end. And that meant that Guanlan was no longer such an important trading hub, because it wasn't directly just trading in and out from Guangzhou, but many ports around the country could then do that.